Friday morning, and the morning ritual of tea is underway. There's the pot on the cooker, and I thought you might be interested to see my my high-tech weather facts set up here. I have, as you see, I have an iPad and a cheap, and it turns out fairly nasty little shortwave receiver. An iPad listens to the shortwave receiver, and it's picking up at the moment 48-hour surface forecast, which is actually quite legible. That's coming from Germany. So this is how I am getting the weather here. I have no Friday evening off the Spanish coast. Nice and calm. Sea's flat, wind about 15 knots. Only trouble is coming from the wrong direction, so I can't even sail south at the moment, slightly east of south, but with any luck that'll change in a while. Let's see, we have a quick look around the horizon. It's 8 o'clock on Saturday morning and the sun is up, which is a good thing because the battery is quite low from last night for some reason. But the wind is down. That noise you can hear is the sails slatting around in 2.5 knots of wind. And we are travelling at the princely speed of 0.4 knots, which means we should get to the Azores sometime in 2032. I don't think this calm is going to last forever, but it may give me a chance to fix up the poor old spray hood, which is coming to pieces as I watch it. So I shall be getting out the stitching gear after breakfast and see if I can fix that. The sails are complaining but doing their best. Who could ask for more? So it's just gone 10 and the bread is made, and the wind is still not doing a lot. You can hear the sails bashing around. I think it might come up in a minute, but in the meantime I'm going to see if I can fix the spray hood here. It's all come to piece, coming apart rapidly. There's holes in it. Time for Patreon, methinks. So that needs to go up there, that needs to go down there, and the whole thing needs to be sewn together like that so that it can be properly fixed again. Right, I shall be reporting back. Lovely job. I might fix something else. Yes folks, dolphins are real, and it's just very, very calm. Occasionally there's a little gust of wind. Then it dies away, then it comes again at another angle. It's just one of those days. It's Sunday morning at early morning tea time, which is always a good time of day. Yesterday the calm weather eventually gave way, and about 3:30 the wind started again and gradually builded, and off we went. So I'm started to headed at about 247 degrees, which is a little bit south of west, and basically pointing towards the Azores. The wind has picked up nicely. We've got 12 knots of wind. We're on a nice beam reach and doing 5.5 knots. On the downside, the sky is very grey. In fact, an hour ago it was much greyer than it is now, and now I can see some features in the clouds, at least some dark, some lighter parts, because I really need some sun today. My battery is very low. If I don't get some sun for the solar panel, I'm going to have to probably start the engine. But here we are, Sunday, about 4 hours away from a week's sailing, and very nearly halfway according in miles. So it depends how much time is lost in calms and adverse weather as to how long the remaining 720 odd miles will take. Do I look a little different? If I do, it's because in celebration of being at sea for 7 days, I decided to have a bath. Yes! You may say, but this boat surely doesn't have a bath. But it does. Let me show you. I'll just turn the camera around. Can I do that? There we have the Contessa 26 original bath. Now, of course, that's not really big enough to get into, and owners in the past must have thought it was distinctly useless because it's underneath the chart table and hard to get at, and pretty useless. But I thought so too, but now I've changed my mind and I like it. Previous owners have disconnected the plumbing, so there's no drain at the moment going out through the side of the hull, and the pump here on the side is connected to nothing. I shall connect it to seawater, so I can have a pump of seawater pumping into a sink which I can use, and as long as I keep the chart table free of clutter, it'll be quite simple to use. I love it. We've gone really well today, Sunday. In one 24-hour period we did 126 miles or something, which is good. That's a little over 5 knots average all the way, and it's just great to see that chart in the little line that's extending away from the coast of Spain in a slightly south of westerly direction, and that little line shows that we are heading for the Azores, and more specifically to Sierra, and still a long way to go, but it's working out all right, so yeah, feeling good. It's Monday the 24th of June and here we still are pottering along. It seems to be rather cold, and although it's 20 degrees on the thermometer, I've got my cardi on. Humidity is 85%, which is damp, and the wind is dropping a bit, so I am going to go and in a moment get the last reef out of the mainsail to see if we can pick up a bit more speed. We're down to about 4 knots, so better make the most of what wind there is while there is wind. And let's hope for some battery charging weather later today. It actually looks not very hopeful at the moment. Okay, right, getting on. Well, the reef was quite easy to put in. It only took 10 minutes, including taking down the wonderful shortwave aerial, putting it back up, tidying up all the ropes, and resetting the course. So yeah, that was well worth doing. I've had some breakfast. and the sun, I can actually see some shadows, so the sun is doing some work. I've turned off everything that I can, apart from the AIS transponder, to try and give the battery a chance to recover, so I can have some stuff on at night when I can't see so well. So I think that's working a bit. We'll see how it goes. Still progressing nicely at between 5 and 6 knots in the direction we want to go. So all good, yay! Yay. So I tell you what bothers me. Can you see that drop of water on the end of that stud there? That's not very good. That shouldn't be there. That is seawater, and it's coming down the stud, and that stud is part of one of the chain plates. Now, let me just turn the camera around. Steel is all very good, and it doesn't usually rust, but if you get seawater on it and no oxygen, you can get a thing called crevice corrosion, and that can go through stainless steel at quite a good rate. And they think this is potentially what is going on here. If the seawater is leaking down the thread of that stud, then it hasn't got any air, so it's probably going to start corroding. So that's something I'm going to have to look at when I stop, because I can't obviously do it now, seeing as we've got the whole load of the rig on those chain plates. That's the chain plates are the things that the standing rigging that supports the masts all attaches to. So when I get to a port, wherever it may be, I shall have to take that out, dismantle it, and see why is it leaking. In other news this afternoon, the great thing is it's the sun's out, the battery's charging, and it's so warm I've actually unzipped my cardigan. How about that? So I think later on I can confidently switch back on the electrical equipment again and see where we are. And more importantly, see who else is around and might be close by. So that's brilliant. Yeah, well, here we are, we're 8 days in, and still there's some fresh vegetables. Now, people often ask me about food on long voyages, especially when they realise that I don't have a fridge. But of course, a lot of vegetables keep really well. For example, potatoes, onions, ginger, garlic, all sorts of things keep really well. Lemons, even salad things. If you buy tomatoes that are pretty hard, I've got some here which are over a week old and still usable. Buy those avocados that are ripen at home. Cucumbers seem to keep well. Lettuce keeps for ages. So there's no reason not to have fresh veg going on into the second week at least, if not more than that. I bought some quite unripe bananas, and those are just ready now. So yeah, that's all pretty easy. And of course, on top of that, you've got all the usual tin stuff, and dried goods like lentils and chickpeas and flour for making your bread and so forth. Yeah, there's really plenty of variety to be had, and there's no need to be just eating stuff out of tins on a boat. Well, what a smashing day it's been today. Not only has it stayed dry, we've had lots of sun, we've got a nice gentle breeze, it's taking us along at about 5 knots, and very exciting, today we've crossed the 15 degrees longitude, and that means that we can put the clocks back. Yeah, we're going to travel in time. 15 degrees on world rotation puts you an hour ahead or behind. So as we've gone west, the sunrise is now an hour later than it would be at 0 degrees. So I shall put the clocks back and we shall celebrate by having a glass of apple juice. Yay! Well, it was quite a night last night. It's Wednesday, no it's not, it's Tuesday the 25th now, but last night as the sun went down the wind died away quite a lot and went really calm, and so I took it easy, and then the wind started kind of backing round all the way down to the south, so to the west rather, so I was heading south, which isn't the way that I wanted to go at all. So I jumped outside and I put a tack in, and then I was going directly north, which is not where I want to go either. And then a few minutes after that the wind came up really strong, so I hove to and stayed like that for an hour or two, and it blew over 30 knots or more, a real squall. But then after a while the wind went back round to the north, so I cautiously came out of hove to and started sailing again, and I've been taking it quite slow, relatively slowly, because the sea has got pretty lumpy because of that squall, I think. So it's really quite bouncy, so I'm keeping the speed down 4 knots under 5, and everything's flying around quite nicely, so hopefully, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that the sea will moderate a little bit later on after this effect of the squall has passed by.